Just before we get into this video, I just love it if you guys, if you are primary school teachers watching this, then please leave a comment down below on anything you did that you really loved, that really engaged your class during online learning. Because as you can see from this video, I had some ideas about what I did and I thought it worked quite well, but I'd love to hear your ideas about different things you did to keep them engaged and having fun. Because it is tough, it's hard work, online learning. The children find it tough because it's not the same interaction with the classmates or the teachers. So I'd love to get a real good bank of ideas for myself, but also for other teachers that come and watch this video. So please leave a comment down below on what kind of things you did. And that would really help all of us out, but including myself. So thank you if you do that. Now, the rest of this video is all about the types of things I did to keep my class engaged. I'm sure you've probably been able to guess a bit of what it is about from the tagline, but please do give it a good watch. And if you ever interact with the people that I had on, then please give them a big thank you from me because they were absolutely amazing. And you never know, you might be lucky enough and they might come and talk to you guys too. So feel free to go and message them and see what they'd say. Obviously, they are all busy people and they dedicate their time to doing their own jobs and their own lives. And so if you're not as lucky as I was to have them come and talk to your class, then I do apologise. But they were all absolutely amazing and I can't thank them enough for what they did. So anyway, I will leave you to it. Enjoy this video and hopefully you've had a brilliant half term. About 6 weeks ago, I sat down and I thought, right, we are into online learning. The children are stuck at home. We're in another national lockdown and I've got to try and engage this class from home for at least 6 weeks. Now, as we know now, it's going to be slightly longer than that, but at the time, I had no idea what on earth I was going to do to keep them engaged. The first thing I realised was that I couldn't do it on my own. I could not do our normal lessons and just deliver them on Zoom, do them online, and just have that be enough for the class. It was going to get long, it was going to get boring, it was going to get dry, and they were going to lose interest. I was going to lose interest by the end of those 6 weeks. I knew that was not going to be enough. So I turned to other people to try and inspire those children. I took this as an opportunity to get children to come and talk to my class without actually coming to the classroom. By doing it on Zoom, there were people who could dedicate just half an hour of their time and volunteer it, and thankfully some amazing people did, to talk to the class about what they do and to give the class some ideas of, in the future, the types of things they could do and how they can get there, what they could do to aim for that. So this video is just a thank you to all those people, and for people who don't know them, it's a little bit of what they did and how amazing they were for doing it. So before I get started, thank you to each and every single one of the guests I'm about to mention for coming and talking to the class. They absolutely loved every single one of you. And quite frankly, I'm in awe that you even managed to find the time to do it and that you would volunteer your time in your busy schedules to talk to a group of primary school children, because it was something that they absolutely loved. It was something new, it was something different, and they had a great time. So thank you so much. The first one I want to talk about is a guy called Kevin Chapman, otherwise known as Lollujo. He's a content creator on YouTube and he vlogs about his family and his life at home, and he also makes Football Manager videos on another channel. So I will try and put a link down in the description below for his channel, but obviously he's a massive YouTuber. He's got, I think, 100,000 subscribers on 2 different channels, or maybe he's very close on one of his channels, but he's brilliant. I really enjoy his videos personally, but as you know, if you're a teacher or if you've got kids around that age, primary school children, all they want to do is they want to be a YouTuber. If you ask them, they want to make videos on YouTube. And as we all know, it's one of those things that actually very few people will ever be crazy levels successful, a bit like being a footballer. Eventually they might become, but there'll be maybe 1%, 0.1%, 0.01% of people that make videos on YouTube will ever earn any decent amount of money from doing it. So to get someone on to talk to the kids about what he did and how he does it and how he makes the videos and the amount of time it takes, the amount of effort and dedication it takes to make the videos, how he edits them, kind of show him around his office and the computers and the lights he's got in the background and the toys. I don't think any of the children that I'm aware of had ever spoken to someone of that kind of standing on YouTube. So thank you so much, first of all, to Kevin for coming on and talking to them. You engaged them so well, you joked with them, you answered their questions brilliantly. Brilliant, thank you so much. Next up, I'd like to talk about a guy called Dan Johnson, who is originally from Yorkshire, and you might know him now as a BBC News reporter. So he goes all around the world reporting on various issues. He's been to USA, he's been to Asia, he's been all around Europe, all around the UK. And this is someone that a few of the children actually recognise from TV when they've been watching the news at home. So he came on to talk about what it's like to be a reporter and how he'd gone from growing up in Barnsley, near where my school is, to ending up travelling the entire world doing this news reporting. And again, it was something that children, it completely opened their eyes to a whole new world that they never really thought about before. They never thought about how easy it is to find a job that means you can travel around the world and get paid to do it. So again, you engaged them brilliantly, you answered their questions amazingly, and thanks a lot, because it was just absolutely amazing. Next up, I'd like to thank my cousin Sarah, because she came on to Zoom all the way from across the other side of the world in Australia, and we're doing space as a topic this term, so we're talking about time differences and how it was sunny here in the morning, it was night time over there, the sun was going down. But we also looked at how, you know, she was walking around in a park with kangaroos bouncing all around, and obviously for most children in the class, they'd never even seen a kangaroo before, especially live on camera. So again, thank you so much for coming on. You took out a bit of your time to give to my class, and they absolutely loved it. Next up, we had my friend called Alaric, who is training to be a doctor. He's in his final year of training, and this was just brilliant because he brought things with him, little props with a stethoscope, and was talking to them about what that is. He had one of those, I've forgotten what it's called now, but one of those hammers where you hit your knee and it makes your knee kick up. And so he brought one of them with him and was talking to them about how to do that. And again, just the questions the children had. Children are full, they're so inquisitive, they're full of questions, full of fountains of knowledge that they want to find out. And he answered all their questions brilliantly, even the slightly gory, interesting ones that I was a bit like, whoa, what was that? But he answered them in a respectful way, in a way that was appropriate for the children and their age. And yeah, thank you so much for giving up that time. You were amazing. And it made a massive difference to the class. The next person I want to thank is a woman called Jennifer Bartram. So she has come on in the final week, and she has spoken to the class about the weather. She's a weather reporter for the BBC, and obviously we did it in the week where there was quite a bit of snow and people were calling it a potential beast from the east too early on in the week. It's been very, very cold that week, and so she came on and spoke to them all about what it's like being a reporter and how she got there. And again, absolutely brilliant. The children loved talking to you about it, and they went away after and did their own weather report, which was just amazing to see some of the results of them. So thank you so much for engaging them so brilliantly. They had a great time, and hopefully you did too. So we've got 2 more people to thank still, because we had some amazing guests this half term. I think in total we had 7 guests by the end of the half term, which over 6 weeks was brilliant. So the next one I'd like to thank is Dr. Aziz, who works for South Yorkshire Police. Now she's a student engagement officer, and she came on to talk to them about what it's like to be a police officer, which is a career some of them do know about and some of them were thinking about doing as it is beforehand. So again, some absolutely brilliant questions from the children. They loved hearing about the day-to-day life of a police officer, how it's not all just car chases and running around after bad guys. There's also, you know, paperwork, and there's things to deal with. There's talking to the community, there's helping people. And so, it opened their eyes to another side of the world that they didn't really know much about. And he definitely inspired a few children. They came away after us thinking, you know what, I'd love to be a police officer. I'd love to go and learn more about that. And you never know, when they're old, they may look back at that point as being the starting point of their career in the police force. So it was a brilliant conversation you had. You answered their questions amazingly. Thank you so much. And the last person I want to talk about is our local MP. Now, our local MP is a guy called John Healy, and he was absolutely amazing with the class. I wasn't sure at the start how well it was going to go, because most of my class didn't even know what politics was before this session. We had a chat about it in the morning before we came on, and they kind of had some kind of idea about it, but I was a bit worried. But he was absolutely fantastic. He answered the questions brilliantly. He even had some questions to ask the class, and they were giving their advice to him. They were telling him about what it was like doing home learning, and if they could change anything, what they'd do. So it was brilliant. They got the idea to make their voices heard, which for a school in Yorkshire, far away from London, it was something that, again, they never get the opportunity to do. So thank you so much, John Healy, for coming on. We are inviting John back at some point once schools are open again and safe to come and have a look at. One of the class asked him about, could they do something to the local fields about mowing them properly and making sure there's some kind of football pitches and that set up on them. And he said he'll definitely come in and have a look and see what he can do. So I can't wait to get the class involved in that and do a kind of project on getting the local community involved about what the class want. So just to give them that opportunity to make their voices heard was absolutely amazing. So thank you, John Healy, for doing that. Now, at the minute, we don't have any other guests lined up, but I know I'm going to be talking to as many people as I can to try and get some lined up. And if you are a teacher looking at ways to inspire your children for the last few weeks of online learning, we still don't know when they're going to be back, but it could be that there's only 2 more weeks of it after half term. So fingers crossed that'll be it. And that'll be the end of the online learning for at least this school year, hopefully forever. But yeah, if you are wondering about what to do to engage them, just message people. There was a couple of people like my cousin and my friend who I knew from before this, but every other one that I spoke to, I just messaged them online. I messaged them on my Twitter and said, look, would you be so kind to dedicate half an hour of your time on a day that suits you to come and talk to my class on Zoom and just answer some questions, talk about what you do. And the generosity of the people that I asked was so amazing. There were some people that said they couldn't fit into their schedules, and I completely understood that because I was asking for a free half hour basically, and not everyone can do that. But so many of them said yes, said of course they could, and we tried to fit them in, and there were a few that we couldn't fit in, and sadly they didn't get to come and talk, but I'll always be open to trying to get them to come and talk to them at another time. So thank you so much to those of you that did come and talk. You were absolutely fantastic. And if you didn't quite manage to, then I will love to have you on another time. But thank you so much, and hopefully it has inspired the class to think of some further opportunities for them, some careers, some job roles for them in the future, and they definitely absolutely have the time of their lives having their questions answered by these professional people in their roles. So thank you so much, and hopefully I'll see you soon.